All right. Welcome back to the stream. Second stream. First stream popped off. I want to thank everybody for that. If you're watching this recording, today we're just going to be doing some juice maps, maybe be getting into some bosses. I still haven't done all of the arbiters just because I haven't wanted to use divs on the keys, and I haven't found any citadels. I found one citadel total, and I sold the key for it early on to basically just get some gear, because early on they were selling for like a div a pop back when 50 exalts was a div. And your exalts could just go a lot further. Get some music going. Yell at me in chat if that's too loud or too quiet. But I'm feeling some music tonight, so we're gonna do it. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. I'll go back for the loot, don't worry. The actual POB is linked in the Maxwell guide. Hey, Clyde. There should be a spot in the Maxwell guide where it says, hey, POB link, or whatever the case is. Fortress is a good map. I'm running Soul Eater mobs, so a lot of the yellow mobs in Breach are super fucking tanky. They need to launch the patch ASAP. Because I've been crashing decently and a decent amount lately. Yeah, Chris, when you activate charge staff, it will eat up your charges. But you only need to use charge staff once, and it's good for like a minute and 20 seconds or something like that. I'll show you when I get into the map. So I swapped my skeletons on my weapon swap. I get all my charges, right? Then I activate charge staff, and I have 1 minute 20 seconds. Then I get my power charges back standardly, and now I'm back to flicking. And then because I have cast on freeze with profane ritual, I get charges as I'm killing stuff.
Map.
Inside out. Oh.
Map.
Sorry, I'm just picking some new music. This ain't it either, dog. We'll just have to go with this one that we went with yesterday, because I'm in the mood for this one. I hate Hidden Grotto. Blooming Fields is a good one. I don't know. You can just delete the sounds then, Asta. I'm not sure why that's happening for you. I just went through like the wizard for Neversink and followed the instructions. You put the sound files in the same filter file as you put the actual filter. When you run cast on freeze, it's just whenever you freeze, it gives you 10 energy per target that you freeze. And we're using Herald of Thunder, which obviously has like a really big AoE as our like primary freeze source. And because it has that huge AoE of what it can freeze, then you're getting a shit ton of energy, which is proccing Voltaic Charge, which procs Herald of Thunder. And so you just get like this infinite freeze loop. And that's why you see these huge explosions as I'm flickering. But the reason why it's so much better even than like the 0.1 tech of like chaining Herald of Ice and Herald of Thunder together is there is just a slight input delay of the mark happening and Herald of Thunder triggering again. So it actually enables flicker. So like on flicker builds in 0.1, if you actually wanted to like flicker around the map like this, you couldn't run Herald of Ice and Thunder because you wouldn't jump to the next target. The map, like the flicker just wouldn't have a target to go to because the input of the heralds proccing off of each other was just instantaneous. So yes, you'd still blow up a huge portion of the screen, but you wouldn't be able to use your charges. Whereas with this, there's like ever so slight delay that enables shit like that. You can see it like kind of cascade. Like you'll see it cascade on the edge of your screen. So it's not an instant, it's like a cascade, which is way more satisfying in my opinion. So obviously you get to fly around the map like you're fucking Goku. The point, it's the sounds. Try it, the game just doesn't read it. Huh, that's weird. Sorry, Asto. I do really like the sounds. I remember watching like a specific video guide on troubleshooting that, but I don't have it like saved or anything. It took me a minute to get all of the sounds figured out into the filter file. 1 stack. Nice.
Map.
Thanks for popping into the stream again, guys. It's a lot of fun. I didn't think that people would be popping in as much as they are. So very grateful for you all. 2 weeks ago, I had 8 subscribers. Now I'm almost to 500, halfway to my goal. Almost 20,000 views on the main video. You guys are awesome. My video made them disappear. I was hearing that people were saying they're up to like 15, 16 div. Honestly, plus fleet flicker is obviously really great, but for mapping, until you can afford those crazy ones, I wonder what voltaic mark is at for a +3. You can get a +3 voltaic mark for 80x right now, or 15 chaos. That could be a good option. Really good budget option, because voltaic mark, I'll show you something real quick. I'm still using collapsing horizon, right? Let me just transfer some of this stuff into dump tabs real quick. When I pull out my other quarterstaff that I use, and I look at voltaic mark, it does 15,600. When I put in collapsing horizon, it goes up by 12,000 damage. So this just makes it such an insane clear tool. And I just realized I didn't put the lightning mastery back in there. Where is it? Did I misspell something? It's right there. Oh, it's cold. Where the fuck did I put lightning mastery? What did I take out of Herald of Thunder? I don't think it was long shot. Glaciation. Oh, it was cold infusion. But I don't need to run cold infusion anyway. I love Crypt so much, you guys. Can't seem to gain charges for your flicker when you use double cast on freeze. And when you say double cast on freeze, you're using 2 separate cast on freeze gems or 1 cast on freeze gem? And if that could just mean that you're not freezing enough and you need more cold damage. And what you can do while you farm up more for cold damage is get Reaper's Invocation in there instead. And just hold the Invocation button down while you're flickering. And that'll solve your problem. Because as long as you're killing shit, Reaper's Invocation gives you a ton of energy. And Reaper's Invocation is technically better than Cast on Freeze because it gives you 15 energy per kill instead of 10 energy per freeze. The only downside is it's a button you hold down while you flicker rather than just having it happen for you It's still completely automated. You just hold Q while you flicker, but or wherever you want to like map it to. What's up again, Other? Thanks for tuning in again, man. The Discord's in the description if you guys wanted to hop in there and chat. I'm definitely going to jazz it up a lot more so it's a little bit easier to use. Put in some like helpful places that I go for like price checking, PoE 2DB, cool YouTube shit that I run into that you guys may want to check out. It's better if you freeze all the time. Because freeze, you don't have to kill them to get the energy, you just have to freeze. But like theoretically speaking, I really like Reaper's Invocation. I feel like it's really good. I mean, that's what I was using in this guide before
map.
I got a crazy amount of cold damage on my shit. When you get acceleration shrines with this build, it's like you're not even playing the same build. You're just playing fucking PoE 2 PDF simulator. Sorry, I'm just not in the mood for that either. I think it should be good. I might end up pausing and changing music again, but or I'll just listen to the sweet, sweet sound of Maven ooze as I'm going through maps. Well, the one way that you could get hella movement speed before was like hardcore nerfed. I don't even know why they nerfed it. It was just barely popular, just Queen of the Forest builds in general. Got nerfed so bad to the point where it's like you can like without crazy investment you can really barely get above 35%, which is standard on boots, like endgame pair of boots that you find anyway. Oh look, another acceleration shrine. This is how you get hella movement speed, is just spec into shrines and then just fucking zip through the map like the Roadrunner from Looney Tunes.
Map.
I'm gonna get a tier 16 map so that I can... There we go. It's not juiced at all, but this one is a +1 to monster area level, so I want to do an 82 area level. See if I can get a level 20 skill gem to drop. The hideout I'm using is called Twisted Hideout, and it's in the MTX shop. Yeah, I do know how to use it. I can do a section next because I've got 2 stash tabs right now. Standard stash tabs of shit that I need to identify if it's worth selling or just vendoring. Because I've just been dumping as I've been trying to prep some of these juiced maps for tonight's stream. Oh god, Crypt is, or not Crypt, Slick is such a good map too for this build. It's so satisfying, man. Anyways, I can show you how I use the Overwolf tool to help me price check items so you guys can have a good understanding on the best way to use the tool. They have some really cool built-in features where it like lets you do like, oh, show me 90% of the stats. So like if you have an outlier stat, like let's say you have a chest piece that has 200 health. Well, not a lot of chest pieces have 200 health. So show me all the chest pieces that have 180 but similar stats everywhere else. You can click like a 90% button. So you can see like stuff that's adjacent to your item that's selling. Another one of the red flags when you're using that tool is like if only one item's showing up, then you need to like dumb down your search a little bit more because a 1 item reference point is obviously not enough to reasonably expect that something's going to sell for that. Unless it is like a 1 of 1 mirror item. But I feel like you would know if you're holding onto a mirror item. You're not late, Blue. You're just in time, brother. Yeah, Step, Crypt, Slick, Fortress, Blooming Field. What else? Oh, my actual favorite. I don't even know what the tower is called, but there's a tower that it's not like crazy confined, but it like goes into caves. It's like a highland mountain kind of vibe. But like more foresty. I don't know exactly how to explain the vibe the map is, but you get a good flicker going on that map, and you just go through the whole tower map in like a single flicker. It feels amazing. For T4 staffs, what do you mean? Yeah, I have Asian ES, or just straight ES.
Map.
As I was going through the axe. Definitely not armor. Honestly, in axe, I picked up anything that had life or ES, and I didn't really care if it was ES or life. I just wanted to have like enough of like a flat hit pool that I could react and like just not get one shot by shit and axe. I'm not the best, like, I'm really not the best person to ask for leveling advice, because honestly, it took me way longer than I wanted it to this time around, and like, I literally almost quit, because I hate leveling in this game. I detest leveling in this game so much. Even in PoE 1, I mean, that's one of the main reasons I never, like, took off with PoE 1, is I just hated going back through it. But with PoE 2, I've really got the end game, like, super dialed in. So I have that, like, oh, I know I'll make it to end game, and I know I'll have fun blasting the fuck out of maps and trials and tier 4 bosses and all that shit. Like, I know I'm gonna have fun once I get here, because I know the game really, really well. I had a really good idea for Flicker this league that came to fruition, so I still am like super motivated to keep playing, and I'm very excited for the update that's going to be coming out, where they update loot. I mean, you guys just watched me do 4 maps that are decently juiced and not see really any crazy loot drops. Exhaust Exchange, I've not used it. Overwolf is the first tool that I saw that I thought worked pretty good. The login thing, it's pretty quick to get logged in. I know it's annoying, but once you're logged in, you stay logged in for a decently long time, in my opinion. So this will be a good item for us to price. It's not going to be a good item to price because we didn't get an evasion energy shield on this. Let's see. You know what? I'll just price like this quarterstaff. I'm wanting to keep crafting on this quarterstaff. I don't want to sell it. I could sell it right now for like 1 or 2 div, but I want to get the suffixes better. If I can get the suffixes better, then I'm gonna use this staff. If this staff had like 4 or 5% crit on it, I would be using it right now. But as an example, I would just hit Alt E on it, and then I take some of like the notable damages. So like obviously we want to know what the DPS is. This is a Sinister Quarterstaff, so we're gonna click the crit chance here so that we have 11.5%. I'll show the hidden mods, and then I want to click the cold damage, because cold damage is pretty desirable for most monk builds to help them freeze. So I'll just say, I just want there to be some cold damage on the staff, so when I do 30, I get a lot of results here, right? And then I can compare the DPS right here. This is about 700, this is 723, 761. So I know I can sell this staff as is for 9 div. But if we pull up the trade site, we can take a look at, okay, why is that one a mirror? We have a pretty good idea of why that one's a mirror. It's probably because it has fat attack speed, fat crit, and it's 945 DPS because of that attack speed, right? This one's 100 div because it has critical damage bonus, almost 5% crit, and attack speed, but the raw DPS number is pretty similar. Again, this one has critical damage bonus attack speed, so critical damage bonus is why this staff is more expensive. This staff, attack speed is why the DPS is so high. For Flicker builds, you really don't need attack speed because the amount of attacks you do with Flicker is based on your power charges. So having more attack speed doesn't necessarily increase your damage. It technically increases your DPS because of how fast the Flicker comes out. But it's not going to make you one Flicker a boss any better than any other staff that doesn't have attack speed. So these are pretty reasonable to be comparing our staff against. These 9, 8 div ones. They're all pretty similar. Ours has way bigger cold damage. Our staff is closest to like this one. This one has a bit more crit, but our staff is very similar to this one. So that just gives you an idea of how I and pricing my items. Yeah, you can link it to me. Asta, if you want, go ahead and join the Discord and you can throw it into the item section. I really think the Discord's going to be the best place for us to talk consistently because I do monitor my Discord a lot. So please, guys, subscribe to the YouTube, hop into the Discord. That way you'll be able to get all the updates for everything. On Discord, you can interact with me a lot more directly and post items, post your POBs, post PoE Ninja links, all that stuff. And just like YouTube comments, I try to respond to every single one. If you guys are talking in the Discord and have questions, either myself or other helpful people in the community will be there to help out. A +7 fractured? Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, if you're getting logged out every time with the VPN. But once you log in once, you should be logged in for the session. And logging in doesn't take too long. I'll get back into the maps, guys, so we're not just sitting in here for too long. See, I'm a poor boy right now. But I have, like, to be fair, I've thrown, like, 70 div into the whittling pile. But my in-game name, if you really want to link in-game, is Corey Leach. Yeah, you can do it in free chat, or you can do it in, there's also, like, build and passive discussion. So there's build theory, passives help, and item discussion. So wherever you guys want to put it, I don't really care. Nice clip. 7 melee skills. The crit chance, the mana are both good. The melee skills is great too. It's a 1.5 attacks per second, which I kind of like too. You just got to get rid of that accuracy rating. The lightning damage is sick. Need to find a way to get the cold damage and accuracy rating off of that, but otherwise it's pretty sick stuff. Yeah, I just saw it in the Discord. Thanks for posting it there so other people can see. One of the other things, especially if you're going to be getting a lot of damage on rings, like this ring right now, it has 33 plus 38, so that's 71 total damage to attacks on it. This is all elemental damage, right? If you get the 100% increased elemental damage with attacks, is essentially doubling the damage that these rings are giving me. Because I have the elemental damage with attacks prefix on this quarterstaff. So that's another thing that makes this quarterstaff great. Like, I honestly might stop fucking with trying to make like a GG quarterstaff and just do other stuff like trying to craft gloves with huge elemental damage on them, rings with huge elemental damage on them, and then just lean into the elemental damage with attacks. It's still, like, single target's always going to be better with like a +7 and crit damage bonus and stuff. I mean, this is going to be the highest critical hit chance staff in the game. But you can never get, you know, flat critical damage bonus on it other than socketing shit into it. But obviously you can socket quarterstaffs with that too. I think Hive is pretty fun too. I am going to make the Discord better, guys. I know it's super bare bones right now, but it'll become a place that we all call home. I'm swapping out conch effect so that my flickers chain a little better. we go. Fuck, this is just awful. I'm sorry. I can't do this. We're just gonna listen to the sounds of my voice, because music's just bothering me right now. I really do want music, because it does give Flicker a good ambiance, but just can't do it right now, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'll check it out after I'm done with this map. Ballstronic. Ballstronic. Me and my dad have a running thing where anything that sounds like it could be remotely vulgar, we just repeat it really loud and with like a funny accent. Not even an accent, just like a... like almost like we're just saying it with an exclamation point. Yeah, you know what? I would like... I just need to like put together a playlist of shit that I know I'm gonna like to listen to. It's just, honestly, work's been pretty insane. And until YouTube's making me the money that I make at work, obviously work's more important than curating a playlist for the 2 or 3 hours that I stream Path of Exile a night. But as a hobby, like, honestly, I haven't had more fun with a hobby probably ever. Doing the, like, build guide and talking with you guys. It's really fucking cool. You guys really have made my month. Hopefully make my year, hopefully make my however long this community stays interactive. I'll try not to be too sappy for too long, but it's a really fucking cool thing. That map kind of sucked. That is a good map. Sinisters are cool for sure. But here's like a breakdown of all the bases. And I'll look at that other quarter stuff that's in Discord too. Yeah, that staff is fucking sick, man. Ballstronic. That's honestly a super sick stuff. I would take the physical damage out of it and put elemental damage with attacks into it, especially if you have any kind of elemental damage on your rings. I'm gonna just pull this over real quick so you guys can see what I'm looking at. This is a very ideal staff for the build. 7 melee skills, critical hit chance. We want the leech to be mana leech, or we want attack speed here for quality of life on flicker, or we want critical damage bonus. But this has cold damage, it has a big elemental damage with attacks roll, so the only thing I'd change about this guy is change the physical damage to elemental damage with attacks. Those are the soul cores of Sitiquoatl. They're these guys. These ones. I think they're like 8 exalts right now. 7. That staff is pretty fucking sick, man. I'm looking for one very similar to it. Because the crit chance is huge, has the elemental damage to attacks, has the melee skills. It's pretty pog. It's not necessarily better, but I mean they're definitely more budget. Like short answer is you'd have to POB it to have like a verifiable answer, but because you don't have a ton of like physical, you have some physical from the staff obviously, but if you have big like elemental damage rings, then it's going to be better to put elemental damage to attacks in there and just run with your base um, critical damage bonus. Hey Fax, how you doing, man? From the Invoker chat, right? You're also doing a pretty similar like Invoke build. I like the boltings. There's one bolting I have my eye on that I want to save up for. I'll pull it up before I do this map. So you can see. This is the one I want. He's not online right now. Hold on. Oh, it's increased critical hit chance, not critical flat crit. We'll do 400. Yeah. Is this the same quarterstaff? Oh no. I mean, these are both super fucking crazy, but I want the critical damage bonus one. This one. So if anybody has 850 divs to lend me to get this quarterstaff, you'd make my life. And the other reason the elemental damage with attacks is so fucking powerful is that prefix makes Infernal Cry the 140% damage as extra fire that you get. It just makes it however much better with however much increased elemental damage with attacks you have on the staff. Whereas Flat Fizz, yes, it makes it so that the damage added as extra is a little bit higher because you have some more. Because generally the DPS is going to be higher on like a Fizz staff. But anyways, this is my dream quarterstaff right here. If the critical damage bonus was higher, it'd be my dream. Which I'm surprised he hasn't whittled that off to try to get it higher. Because everything else is, I mean, this is item level 81, 75, 81, 81, 44, and 8. So like he can get the 8 off pretty easy. If he's selling it for 850, I don't know why he's not trying to get that. Maybe he just doesn't want to get like a dead suffix on there. Or maybe he's just out of shit to craft on it. Yeah, keep stacking the LE damage, for sure. I'll check that out in a second. Brick what with leech? Like that quarterstaff that I pulled up? I've tried Fax for the Frenzy, but I can't get the Sniper's Mark to work in either of the cast on crit setups. Not cast on crit, I mean cast on freeze. Oh, there we go. Divine. You can, but I don't think it's good. You lose way too much defense. And you can't use any of the meta gems. The damage as extra chaos is good, but you can get more damage as extra chaos from Into the Breach with the Mantra of Destruction tech. Because, like, Darkness caps out at, like, 55% when it's completely unreserved.
Map.
I'm probably going to play with Darkness a bit once I, But the Darkness shit that I was going to play with was going to be, like, Spellcaster focused. Because Darkness, its damage effectiveness is about the same as Archmage. So I was looking at doing some, like, Archmage shenanigans. Not Archmage, but just basically use Darkness as a replacement for Archmage for Spark.
Map.
That's exciting. I love seeing a tier 5 raise your quarterstaff. That's what I was going to do as well, is kind of go through all the bases with you guys. Like, what's the benefits of each base? Volatility. The reason I'm not using volatility is because it's only good in mapping, and I obviously have no problems in maps. And on top of that, I don't have any way to, like, mitigate the armor, cause like I don't have armor mitigation, and volatility is physical damage. So even with like 6k ES, was times when I was testing volatility out in maps, I'd get up to quite literally 60 stacks and one shot myself. So it's awesome for damage, but it's just not awesome for sustainability in maps because you'll just straight up kill yourself. No, not with Darkness. They fixed that. I mean, still possible. You just have to get good. I don't think, like, I think Temporalis, they said, oh, Temporalis is still going to be powerful. And then there's, like, no builds that really even want to utilize it because it's, like, actually not powerful. They made the breakpoint on it, just not good enough. They should have, like, capped it so that, like, a corrupted one would still, like, give you the shit that you need if you corrupt the Temporalis. I'm gonna come back and still pick everything up. That was the tier 5 one that we got. Womp womp.
Relying on luck can only get you so far.
It is not considered an unarmed hit. Either that or you may not have enough freeze build-up nodes, so I suggest taking Essence of the Mountain, and I suggest taking the Quarterstaff freeze build-up nodes that are on right here. Here's Essence of the Mountain. Here's some freeze build-up right here if you need it. I think there's some up here if you need some extra. Or obviously, like against the darkness with extra cold is really good too. I don't really think I forgot anything else. So. I'm sorry, Sphinx. You might just want to try some of the other Maven sound files from Neversink then. We'll take a quick look. See if I did anything that's different. I don't have it saved as that. Edit in Notepad. Yeah, I don't have anything that changes it. You can just change that O sound to something else, though. Or the rest of them working, if you know. Yeah, Essence of the Mountain can be helpful for sure. I swear to God, those fat fucking fractured monsters drop the most loot out of any other mob in the game. It's like they're just fucking giant loot pinatas. Slick is such a fucking great map for this build. Alright, we get it, Maven. I dropped an Exalt back there. I'll find it. Don't you worry. After this map, I'm gonna go grab a water. And each time I grab a water, I'm gonna yell at you guys to click the subscribe button if you haven't. I really want to hit 1,000, guys. It'd be fucking awesome. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Slow down. Leech saving my ass there. I'm glad you think it looks fun, Torin. When I found out how OP Lightning Spear was, I set out to make something that competes with it.
Map.
No, I'm not an Invoker Otaku. I am Acolyte. And I feel very strongly that Acolyte is the best Ascendancy for this build. Primarily because of Mana Sustain and Energy Shield Leech are the two primary things. Yeah, it's Acolyte. And here's why. The reason why Ravenous Doubts is so good is because we are able to leech all the damage that Voltaic Mark does, because this is considered an attack, and it's exclusively elemental damage. Nice, Blue. Chayula? Chihuahua? I like saying Chayula. I think it's a kind of cool name. Yeah, 7 div isn't bad for a 4%er. And you got 6 links. That's awesome, man. Are you just ripping through now? You need Voracious or Instant Leech at Zeri Acuity Gloves. So that's why we have Voracious anointed on our Stellar. That map did drop 12 raw exalts. It's not bad at all. I'm going to do some inventory management here, so guys can snore through it. $7K from that. Oh, you got a 7 deal. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. 3 on Jewel 1 on a helmet, 3 on 6 links. Congrats, man. Um, those are pretty sick, actually. So we get damage to attacks on them. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, we got lightning damage. Let's see what these guys sell for. They're not selling for that much. What browser is it opening in? Oh. Say 15, 15. I mean, they're not selling for 80 div. Smooth the energy shield down. 100x 4 div. I am going to put this here and craft on it later. Oof, gross. Thorns suck. Hit the thorns. Not that. Rarity stun hold. Maybe. Nope. Alright, that's all done. Shouldn't have to do that again tonight. Can the build do Simulacrum easily? I mean, yes, it can, but it's not really it's not really the build. You're not going to be flickering through Simulacrum. I fucking hate Simulacrum, so I did not set out to create a build that is expressly good for Simulacrum. Yes, you can struggle through it by using Stormwave, but Flicker doesn't generate corpses in Simulacrum because Simulacrum just doesn't generate corpses. So it's just not fun to play in Simulacrum at all. All right, I'll be right back. No problem, Bugs. And you're welcome, VTZ. I'm back, obviously. That's something you could do on Invoker. What are you saying generate charges for? You can't. So the reason why Sniper's Mark doesn't really work is because while you're flickering, you can't gain power charges that way. Because Flicker has in the title, you cannot gain power charges while using this skill. So as you're jumping around, even if you were to crit and you're using Resonance to change Frenzy charges into power charges, it won't work because of this shitty thing on Flicker. That's kind of a gnarly map.
Where did all that confidence disappear to, Challenger?
What are some of your guys' favorite maps? Well, you know what? I know what I'm gonna do after this. I'm gonna go check out my expedition logbooks, see if any of them have a boss in it. What level are you at now, Jameson? Or not Jameson? Jermaine Wilson makes it seem like it should be Jameson. And I have a cat named Jameson, so forgive me, Jermaine. But what level are you at now?
Map.
One more thing you guys can be doing, by the way. If you want an easy way to get a bunch of extra cold damage to attacks, is run both Embitter and Ambrosia on Flicker. Yeah, I need some more crit chance. Makes sense. Yeah, being crit capped is... That's the hardest thing in this build, is getting at crit cap or at least close to it. I think 85% is still pretty comfortable with the build, but you definitely want to be as close to 100 as possible.
Map.
.66. You'll zoom through like 66 to 80 can be pretty quick. I think that's good for now. All right, we'll check out my logbooks, see if I've got a boss in any of them. Oh, that one looked kind of juicy. Critical damage bonus. Can we get crit on it? Nope. Let's chaos it a couple times. Try to get some crit. Got some fat accuracy rating on it for any Amazons that want to run this. Okay, give us fire. Light radius. Attack speed doesn't suck. Alright, let's swap the mana per enemy killed with bow attacks, fire additional arrows, or crit. Or more elemental damage. That's chill. Okay, come on, give us some crit. Wah, wah, wah. It's still not dead. Still not dead. Still not dead. Okay, it's dead, Jim. It's dead, Jim. We'll still craft on it a bit. Okay, logbooks. Thanks, Dr. Grubbly. I appreciate it, man. Oh, you know what? I have music that I know I won't get sick of. What the fuck is this guy doing? I can't believe this only sold for 7x. It was sitting in my stash for such a long time. Sorry for those of you. Well, you know what? Fuck it. I haven't done a full logbook in a long time. Throw away one right there. I hope with the updates they actually do update logbooks themselves, because right now you just don't get enough out of them to justify doing them over just like literally opening it, seeing if it has the boss. If it doesn't have the boss, just close it and go to the next one. But I kind of felt like blowing up some traps. But like the pack size on this is just so fucking... Even if I do my best job at like making sure I get all the flags, it's just pitiful. But all these Black Scythe artifacts almost go for an Exalt each, so I think it's like 1.34 right now or something. So getting all these is actually kind of nice. Oh, that's too low. There we go. Yeah, Jermaine, it's super sick. I mean, 27 of those Black Scythe artifacts. I mean, I'll just show you guys real quick. I want Exalted. I have Black Scythes. I mean, that 28. That's 14. I think you can do 15, 16. Yeah, 16x. Right around. But not bad for like a quick little 5-minute expedition. So you always want to do Black Scythe if you are going to do a full logbook. And we got a boss. So we'll go ahead and do the full logbook and then, well, yeah, we'll do a full logbook. Some cold resistance. Hold on, I just want to see the map real quick. Alright, this is a pretty juiced one. I have to stay very far away until they spawn, or it gets a little terrifying. Logbooks are the real pinnacle bosses, boys. Those speedy boys are horrifying too. Shit. Holy fuck. Holy fuck, whole ass regal, dude. Regular expedition light is just so shit, man. No, fuck. God damn it, I just lost the boss. And a fuck ton of XP. Shit, man. That fucking sucked. I also learned my lesson. I always need to make sure I have an amelioration in my inventory. Yeah, definitely. Mistakes were definitely made. I thought I was far enough away, Leviathan. That's why I was like not so worried. I was like right about to cast Flicker too. I have like 5,700 health too. Let's see if it rewarded me. It didn't. So I'm just gonna turbo through this one. Rare monsters is good. Artifacts that are chest. Rare monsters is good. Quantity of items dropped by monsters. Artifact chest. Currency chest. Artifact. Artifact. Artifacts dropped by monsters. Artifact chest. This. Magic monsters. Currency. Pack size currency. Definitely don't want that. Don't want that. Monster hits are always critical hits. That's not too bad. Okay. Actually, that last one's probably scary, but whatever. We're gonna roll with it.
Map.
Oh, that's the other thing that sucks about Flicker is if a mob has proximal tangibility, you can't teleport to it. It's like, what's going on? See? So annoying. And this guy has elemental resistance aura. He's gonna fucking kill me. You're gonna see it. He's just gonna fucking whoop, tap me.
Map.
I'm spoiling myself. I'm gonna never be able to play non-CI builds because I always ignore volatiles. I'm glad that it's working for you on Invoker. How are you solving mana through jewels or like mana on kill stuff on your gear? I wish this tracked logbooks. Spell chaos, max mana intelligence, physical spell skills. This one isn't good. I'll double check it later, but I'm pretty sure it's not. This one needs chaos spell skills. Yeah. Yeah. Nope. Nice, gotcha. It's a pretty good one. And you're welcome, Sir Kato. I'm glad that you're able to get some inspiration, get it working on Invoker. Nice. We take those. Glad I did this logbook. If I die, I don't care now. Chayula gives you a lot of energy shield leech and mana leech, as well as a lot of extra chaos damage. And a lot of the bosses don't have chaos resist. All the bosses don't have chaos resist except for what's the name? King of the Mists. So that's why Chayula. Chunky boy. I'm pretty sure that mob had more HP than a map boss. Unironically. Awesome, Jermaine. Glad to hear it, man. And yeah, Divine Orb dropped at the start of the map. Of the Expedition Logbook, I should say. How does it not get that one? That's such. Sun artifacts also go for quite a bit. So always pick Knights of the Sun and whatever Tujin is, Black Scythe Mercenaries. If you're going to run logbooks consistently. I'm pretty sure logbooks pay for themselves at their current costs. Don't quote me on that though. I'm just guesstimating. Focus on Against the Darkness, rings, like really good rings. Honestly, focus on really good rings with your upgrades. You should be able to find some really solid rings for that price. I'm not a person who likes to like I'll pick up bases that I'm actively trying to craft on for like my own character, but I'm really not the person that picks up like random ass bases. To try to like make a profit off of crafting off the bases. On bosses, it's very easy to get 6 stacks, and this build doesn't need damage in maps. And you do leech ES if you have some version of instant ES in your build, either through the Voracious Anoint or add series Acuity instant leech gloves, and you'll constantly be leeching energy shield. You'll see like most times in maps. I seriously can't tell you how many times energy shield leech has saved me when I would have for sure died on Invoker or Amazon or any other Ascendancy with the same exact gear. The leech is very powerful on its own. This one I'm literally just going to check for a boss, because I don't want to farm these tokens. No boss. And it's more than 28% extra because of Interlude. You get a 25% increased effect, so it's 28% plus 25% of that. So another 7%, so it's 35 extra. And Invoker doesn't get more damage as extra than that. They get 20% total. But totally entitled to your opinion. If you feel it's better, make it work. Enjoy flickering on either of those ascendancies. No buffs. Damn, I'm such a dumbass for dying like that. I really was feeling doing some Olroth. This one does have a boss. Let's double check that we. I don't want to make. I want to make sure that we get the boss. I think 5 explosives should do it. This is also not with my bossing stuff, as a reminder. This is with the starter stuff for this build. And I'm not going to do weapon swap shenanigans or anything. I will, however, get some 4 purple flames, which is going to be some pretty fat damage. So still did 13 million on our first flicker. Never lucky. Alright, now what to do? Let's check out the map, see what we can travel to. We've got double tower right here. Two kind of overlapping, two kind of overlapping. Two overlapping right here, and a third, so we can go set this up. Which is what we shall do. Hey, Augury. But we'll do it. Don't want to do temp chains or monster elemental resistances. No fractured lake. Has everyone seen that yet? What can I help with, my friend? Spire of Ire, Essentia Sanguis. Don't need Mana Leech. Looking for more damage. I think it's difficult to try to do Chaos only build. My main recommendation would be to find a source of Withered, because that's really how you make the Chaos stuff very strong. But if you're focusing on critical hit chance and you're still trying to like maximize that, there's a helm called Atsak's Sight. ATSAKS Sight that automatically poisons on critical hit, and obviously chaos damage will lead to poison magnitude. So that could be one way to get you some more damage on that kind of build. But another thing you could do is go to PoE Ninja, look up your item, and see if there's anybody that's really high level that is primarily using that item, and maybe try to get some ideas from there. How much currency do you need to invest to do tier 4 pinnacle bosses? You know, this build doesn't have like a set like cookie cutter, hey, buy this unique or buy this specific like archetype. Kind of just depends on like where you get your stats from, because damage on quarterstaffs is pretty complicated on like all the different like combinations you can do to get good damage. But if I had to just completely ballpark it, I would say like 15 div should get you comfortably doing pinnacle bosses, if that's the main thing that you're going for. That's not really focused on defense, that's just focused on one-shotting the tier 4s. If you wanted to, you know, obviously mix defense in with that, then you're probably looking at like, I mean, most of my pieces that are in this build that are like defense focused are what's expensive. That and like a ideal quarterstaff for tier 4 bossing. Ideal quarterstaff is gonna set you back like 7 div probably ish, and that's really the most expensive part, plus rings depending on what rings you get. But there's lots of rings you can find that are pretty heavy on the damage side of things for like the damage added to attacks for pretty good deals. As far as the ascendancy for that, my friends, honestly, I think Amazon is probably better for Spire of Ire. It'd be nice to get the damages extra chaos from Chayula, but if you're doing Essentia Sanguis and you're going to be leeching that way, then you don't really need Acolyte. The most powerful part of this Ascendancy is the part where we leech mana as energy shield. So if you're solving that elsewhere, then it's probably better to go Amazon to get crit cap a lot easier, in my opinion. Yeah, 5 stacks is very reasonable on bosses, which is definitely a ton of chaos damage.
Map.
So if you're starting from scratch, my biggest recommendation is either finding expedition maps and using expedition precursor tablets and then selling all of the expedition stuff. Because if I go to expedition right now, well, let me take all of my expedition currency out of the bank. So this really isn't that much currency that you can collect from expedition because they just drop so many of these artifacts. But let's just see, as an example, you'd probably accrue this much over like 4 or 5 maps. No, I want Exalted, sorry. And then I have, so like, let's say over 4 or 5 maps you got this many artifacts. Every 17 is 10x. Boom, I just made 20x. You know, that's one of the recommendations. Exotic coinage sells for a good amount too. Boom, I just made another 20x. So that's like one of the examples is I always recommend doing expedition if you're not. Another couple of things that I recommend is Trials of Chaos. And the reason I recommend Trials of Chaos is twofold. If you can consistently do 10 session Trial of Chaos, you can sell Cowardly, Deadly, and Victorious Fate, which is a guaranteed drop at the end boss. Those sell for 16x. The other ones sell for about half of that. Yeah, 5x, and the Victorious Fate 5x. But those are all guaranteed. So you run that, you're guaranteed in 15 minutes 5 Exalted Orbs at a minimum. But on top of that, you're also guaranteed 3 Soul Cores. And depending on the Soul Core that you get, you could get a Takaba, and that's basically a div if you get a Takaba. If you get an Azkappa, which is Spirit to Weapon, it used to be the super rare one because it added rarity to sockets. That's 22 Exalted. There's Jaquanis, which is 28 Exalted. There is, I think, one more that's valuable. Staccatis, 11. Those are the ones that are the most valuable. But those, like, easy, guaranteed currency just for grabbing these. And you can pick up a level 79 or 80 area level inscribed ultimatum for an exalt. And so that obviously pays for itself. And then ritual. Just straight up ritual. Those are like my 3 primary recommendations is ritual, expedition, and ultimatum. As like the super, you don't have any currency, your build's not strong yet, would be expedition, ritual, and ultimatums. So good luck with that, Vig. Yeah, Leola. On bosses, like I've been standing here for a second, right? In my hideout, just like looking at Alva. If I just walk in like a decent direction in every direction, look how easy it was to get 6 stacks or 5. But if I look at my tooltip with 5 stacks, it was at 54,000. Now it's at 38. Now it's all the way down to 34. So I'm getting 20,000 damage from those 5 stacks, and that's all chaos damage, right? And all I had to do was stand there for a second before starting a tier 4 boss, as an example of what you can do, um, which is obviously super helpful. And when you're using spear skills, if you're not going for one shots and you're just like actually doing the boss fight, you're obviously going to be running around the room and boss rooms. I mean, literally, this room is tier 4 Zesh's room. Look how many spawned in the over the course of 20 seconds, and I'm at 6 stacks already. And then I'm still picking them up, so I'm going to maintain a lot of those stacks. Just as I'm running around the room dodging the boss stuff, now I'm at 7. Back down to 3, but you get the idea. Just picked up another 3, that'll take me to 4. So you do have a pretty consistent generator of having a lot of extra damage as chaos. But the flat crit, if you can get crit cap on Amazon, then crit cap is always going to be better, because then, you know, depending on your investment in critical damage bonus, you're going to be constantly at, you know, doing 3x damage what you normally would be. Yeah, try out Expedition and Mapping Blue. It's pretty good. I like it a lot. Any other way to get crit chance? You could get a From Nothing diamond, and then find crit on the tree that's next to a keystone that you can use. I think the Unrelenting Assault or something it's called, to get close to this one. Resolute Technique. You can get Overwhelming Strike next to this, which is 10%, 5%, and 20% critical hit chance. So that's 35% crit. If you haven't taken this wheel, this is a good wheel to take for critical hit chance. 25, 10, 10, 10. There's 10 here, 20 here, 12 here, 10 here, 20 here, 10, 20 here, 20 here, 50, 10, 10, 10. Flat 1%, which is insane. 25, 10. There's critical damage bonus and critical hit chance right here, so 20% lives right here. There's 10% right here. There is, I don't think you're traveling over here, but there's some crit stuff over here you could look at. So that's pretty much all the sources on the tree. There's some more sources down in like this area. Dispatch foes. I haven't tried it, Finna, because you can't gain charges while you're flickering. Profane Ritual is like really just built for flicker. There's no like, I know the Profane Ritual tech is kind of annoying, but there's just not any better way to make power charges right now, because of the limitation on Flicker Strike of you cannot gain power charges while you're using the skill. Yeah, Mana Remnant's good. Puzzled Pickle. I've heard a couple of people in my comment section on my videos saying that they're solving mana problems by using Mana Remnant, but obviously it's a spirit investment. You can Gurkat, you just need to solve mana. Either have a shit ton of mana on kill jewels, or not jewels, rings, like shit ton of mana on kill on your rings. Or mana on kill on your jewels. There's also this node right here recover 2% of max mana on kill. You can gain rage while you flicker, but you won't gain the charges while you're flickering, power charges. So you would never really gain charges because it's not correct. You get to max rage on, let's say, like, if you want to exclusively flicker or flicker more than 80% of the time, you can definitely add it, Moiki. But if you are flickering 80% of the time, you're just not going to gain those charges when you hit max rage, because you're flickering while you would potentially hit max rage. And the other thing about rage is it has a internal cooldown of like 0.3 seconds or something like that. So over the course of a 8 charge flicker, depending on how much rage on hit you have, you're gaining, the standard is 3 from the support gem. The most I've ever seen on a 8 charge flicker is 6 rage gained from it, which is not ideal. Why would you need to create a new acolyte? And yes, flicker does need a good stun threshold, but what do you mean by new acolyte? Like you can't respec your current one or something? Are you saying you have to? Occasionally Masony, but not very often for my current build. I'd spec out of stun threshold just because I have so much energy shield. But in my primary guide, I say take these nodes as a very important thing. Right now, the only stun threshold I have is up here. This one's the most important one, the stun, because you get the stun recovery as well. But I would say that these 5 are very important, and 1, 2, 3 are very important. And then on top of that, I also recommend using a heavy belt. Hey, Finna, I really wanted that to work for like, hey, you get max charges, use Rageforged to Rageforged gauntlets or whatever they're called. I can't remember exactly what they're called to get the power charges. But what you're doing at that point is you're using something else to generate power charges for Flicker. Rather than, like, if I wanted to, I could take Stormwave off my bar and exclusively Flicker. Whereas with that Rage tech, I need to use something else to generate Flicker. And that's part of the reason I don't use Resonance, is because I don't want to be ice striking or storm waving like 90% of the time and then like mix in Flicker once I get enough charges from Resonance or that max rage tech, or, insert whatever other power charge tech is out there. Really, Profane Ritual is just the main way to go right now. My critical damage bonus right now, because I have pinpoint criticals so that I get the more critical hit chance, so it lowers it a lot. But with my current staff, I have 387. Oh, sorry. If I take this out, it's 552. And then usually I'll toss in overextend, so we're sitting at 718. Critical damage bonus. Without, with like optimal bossing gems. And 718% is an 8.18 multiplier on your hit. I think cast on freeze is more consistent than cast on crit. I just don't feel like you gain enough energy on cast on crit, but I'm not going to die on that hill. If people say that cast on crit feels better, then cast on crit feels better. But what doesn't feel better about cast on crit is 100 fucking spirit. I mean, elemental damage with attacks is a really strong affix on a staff. And that's why Worm Quarterstaff is so great. I mean, this staff, I may just like change the build to just be like, try to optimize Collapsing Horizon as much as possible on bosses. so I don't even have to like change the staff because the staff is just so cool. I really like that a unique really helps enable this build a lot. But as far as like my flat damage sources, the affixes I go for is just flat damage in general, and I want to make sure that I have some cold. Like this has 16 to 23, this has 28 to 44. But as long as we have a lot of flat, high damage, the Against the Darkness does a lot of the heavy lifting because we get 4% of damage as extra cold. Yeah, okay, 90 spirit. But the most you can get on an amulet is 60-ish. You can get more than that, obviously, but so you get 60. Where are you getting the other 20 from? And are you going to run 2 cast on crits instead of cast on crit, cast on freeze? I think Voltmark has to have cast on freeze, but Profane Ritual, I've heard people have a lot of great success with cast on crit. But, you know, guys, like I said, play with it. Find out what works best for you. I'm not, I'm not 100% perfect. I don't even think my passive tree is perfect right now. It's just been working, and I haven't wanted to sit down and POB and figure it out. I'd rather be talking with you guys about things and kind of theory crafting what, we all are thinking is working and stuff like that. So I just haven't been like really prioritizing getting like the absolute nitty gritty on the build. But I definitely will over time. I just having a lot of fun mapping, talking to you guys, making the videos. I definitely can. I'm not sure how to say your name, but again, that's defenses lost because it's a prefix on your chest. Like if I had spirit on this and I didn't have the T6 roll of maximum energy shield, this would be like an 800 energy shield. And 200 flat energy shield after all the increases to energy shield we have in the tree and on amulet and stuff. That's a lot of energy shield that we lose to be able to run spirit. Or I could pick up one that has 1,000 energy shield and however much spirit and spend like I'd have to mortgage my left testicle for fucking 15 years for the amount of divines those chess pieces cost. It definitely takes some getting used to get it all proccing and stuff, but this build's very hard to run as self-found, I'll tell you that much. You're a brave soul for trying to make it work, Masony. Yes, Mikey, definitely. On bosses, it may still be good to keep Beacon of Azus in there. But +2 melee and 50 spirit is very close to a perfect amulet for this build.
Map.
What are the supports that you have in it? In Herald of Thunder, Masony? And what's your tooltip damage on Herald of Thunder? Because it's pretty easy to get Herald of Thunder to freeze. Yeah, I I don't necessarily agree also. Like I could take it out and it would still work. I can't take it out right now because I'm relying on it for dexterity, but it definitely helps a lot, and that's why I say like that should be your first thing that you prioritize, but you can definitely do the build without it. I was doing it without it for a long, 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 long time. Yeah, your tooltip's pretty low. Should be freezing. Yeah, glad you like it, Mikey. Um, I won't always give 7. Like most of the time when I do like flicker, you'll see if I'm just going from pack to pack, I don't have full power charges every time. I mean, I get a lot of power
Map.
charges from the build, but it's not. I'll show you in the next map since this one's done. Yeah, my current time loss is insane. Yeah. Herald of Ash is good. There's some other Flicker tech that I can dive into on Herald of Ash, but I'm not in the mood right now because I'm just not. My teeth are hurting. I had a dentist appointment a couple weeks ago and they fucked my shit up, man. I haven't personally played, but I know the mechanics very well for Flicker on the other classes because I helped a gemling friend come up with like infinite flicker for like always having power charges. I helped a lot of invoker friends set up their stuff to, optimize based around invoker. Invoker's super easy to optimize. Here's invoker's claim to fame. It's dummy easy to get a flicker build working on invoker because it's just, hey, get a big ES or evasion rating chest, or like normally it's a hybrid, don't have any spirit on it, and then you're set with spirit. You have 150 fucking spirit that you can do whatever the fuck you want with, and you're set. So Invoker just solves spirit, and then on top of that, Invoker solves elemental pen because you just build critical hit chance, you get elemental pen built into the kit, which that's the two most insane things about Invoker. And if they don't change anything about Invoker for the rest of Path of Exile 2 release, Invoker will always be strong because of those two things, regardless of what build you play. No, Invoker is not superior in every way. It is nice and clean. Because Invoker has to solve mana. Like, you need tons of mana. You don't. Invoker can't solve recovery as well. Like, especially in solo self found or like a hardcore setting, Invoker is going to struggle in this build. Um, versus Acolyte. I mean, even in that last map, I don't know if you saw, like, I got surrounded and Leech is what saved me. Invoker is going to die on this build way more often than Acolyte is. On one of the videos, Masony, or in the chat tonight? It's not hard to get instant leech. You just use chance orbs on the base for a series acuity. It's not a rare unique by any means. It's one of the easier uniques that you can yoink. But Path of Exile 2 is just not designed for solo self-found right now anyway. So I don't want to necessarily like talk about balance between Invoker and Acolyte on solo self-found versus trade. I don't get me wrong. I think don't I want Chayula to be seen as really bad. I'm just saying with like a lot of the experience that I have on seeing people run Invoker, seeing people run Gemling, seeing people run Infernalist, seeing people like the best Flicker Ascendancy, not necessarily for this build. I'm sure that you could probably solve it with this build because you have an extra ring to solve mana problems. The best Flicker, the best anything is going to be made on Ritualist because you can just get the most raw stats. If you have 3 Mirror Tier rings, Ritualist is just the best. Then you have Invoker, which is super cookie cutter and great and easy because you auto pen elemental resistances and you have Spirit, so it's cookie cutter and easy. Then you have Gemling, which if you lean into quality, you don't need to gather as many power charges because you can get quality up to like 90%. So that you just have forever flickers going and you have like reusable power charges for such a long time. Then you have Infernalist, which can leverage low life tech for extra critical damage bonus with Pain Attunement, because they can sacrifice their health. They can wear Coward's Legacy, so if you're below 75% health, you can get a bunch of critical damage bonus. Then there's Lich. If you run Blasphemy Aura, you can leverage your Chaos damage. Hey, you killed something while it's cursed, so you blow up Chaos for 33% damage. And then you get the defenses from Eternal Youth in the Lich tree, so Lich is good. You have Deadeye, which could be good with like I don't think Deadeye is super great for it, but Tailwind's obviously a great Ascendancy node. And then you have Avidity, which gives you a 30% chance when you gain Frenzy charges, so like the Sniper's Mark tech, you gain your maximum. And because it's converting those to power charges, it works with Flicker too. So Deadeye's good in that sense. Amazon's good because you get crit caps super easily, and you get a bunch of free flat physical damage. Oh great, this is bugged. Yeah, super shitty ward though, Pickle. It's... Darkness as a mechanic is a wasted opportunity. They can't make every build want to rely on Spirit as much as they do and then give you 50% of damage as extra chaos. You can wear a Ming's Heart ring and you get the entire offensive benefit of Darkness. And to get any real offensive benefit from Darkness, it's 6 Ascendancy points. And then it's like, okay, cool, I have 1,000 shield that fucking has a 5 or 10 second cooldown depending on how invested you are into it. And you have no Spirit, so that means no Wind Dancer, no Ghost Dance, no Cast-Ons, no Heralds, no fucking anything. It's dog shit, and I hate it.
There is no more break the image, break the prison. Ooh. This lake never quite gives you what you want, does it?
Yeah, there's definitely those mechanics too, Pickle. I mean, Invoker on the damage side gets 20% damage as elemental, 10 from cold, 10 from lightning. You pen elemental resistances and you get free spirit. That's Invoker. Chayula is you can leech energy shield for free, built into the Ascendancy, and you leech all damage types, which Invoker can only leech physical. Um, then you have tons of damage as extra chaos with either flames or reality rending. Reality rending for 2 points is the same amount of damage that Invoker gets from cold and lightning for 4 points. Um, so it's really like Mana Leech is way easier to solve, and like just mana problems in general, way easier to solve on Acolyte over Invoker. So I'd say like Invoker probably has more like top end damage potential. And I wouldn't even say that because you can pick up a shit ton of flames and chaos damage can't be resisted in the current state of bossing. So I'm still pretty confident in my assessment that Acolyte is just better for this build specifically. I'm not saying overall. Overall, Invoker's world's better, and definitely not questioning that. What do you mean 5 gem levels that Invoker has? Oh, yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, you can pen a specific element, and there's other ways, like you can freeze the boss to ignore elemental resistances. I didn't realize that this map had temp chains. And penning elemental resistance isn't always going to be better than +3 melee skills anyway. And I don't use instant leech gloves. Like you can use those as your leech source, but Voracious is better because you can use the +2 melee skills gloves. When I'm in my like full boss setup, I have 37 or 36 level 36 flicker. And again, chaos damage you don't need to have pen for because the only boss that has it is King of the Mists, and that boss is easy to kill anyway. I don't stream on Twitch. I might eventually, but for right now it's just YouTube. At one point, a long time ago, I used to, but that was Dota 2. Invoker definitely can't do that because you just don't have enough mana. You run out of mana and you stop your chain. Yeah, it's conditional, but it's something that you can set up on every boss.
Map.
That's like saying the spirit on your chest is conditional from Invoker. Yeah, you gotta wear an armor, but you know what I mean. As the Ascendancy as a whole, Invoker is better. For this specific build, I believe Acolyte's better.
Map.
I think like 50 total flat hold. This is right around 18 average. This is right around 32 ish, a little bit more than 32, but yeah, right around 50. Temp chains is so miserable. Definitely don't need that much. There's tons of people that I've helped with the build that don't have that much. I think the main thing is just your overall like top end damage on Herald of Thunder just needs to be higher. Not necessarily like just your flat cold, just like your overall damage on Herald of Thunder. This 2k is pretty low. Herald of Thunder tooltips almost 11k right now.
What can I do for you? I'll be here, waiting.
You're welcome. You got an Astromentus, is that what you're saying? Put that up on a checkpoint. Huh. If you have an Astromantis, I'd probably go with Hands of Wisdom in action and the node that gives you attack speed based on dex. I mean, just having an Astromantis is pretty wild. It's still good. Like, it's not obviously better than um, some of the other meta options, but even after the nerfs, Astromantis is still really good. if that's what you're meaning by Astra.
Map.
Well, chance of heavy. Ugh. Also got some ornates and silver charm. Do a quick little like chance orbing session here. And then I think I'm gonna call it a night. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. 425 views on the stream tonight. But I am beat. I've got a long day at work tomorrow and all that fun stuff. But we'll give these guys a whirl. All right. That's how you delete like 70 plus exalteds. If you whittle it, would it get rid of the accuracy rating? So you can look at the weights on items at this website, and you just compare. I'll link directly to the modifiers on quarterstaves. Here's the modifier calculator. I'll link it in the chat real quick. And it's T2. Is anything else? Because like T2 may not mean that it's... Did you say... So what's the increased physical on it? 45 and 144. How do you have 45 and 144? Oh, never mind. You have, it's not a, you have a 144 flat evasion rating. It's not a hybrid. You may lose the physical damage. I'm pretty sure the physical damage is the lowest one. Because that's T1, which is level 1. So you would lose the physical damage, not the flat accuracy rating. The flat accuracy rating looks like it's tier 20, like level 26. Or are you saying, I'm sorry, I may be confusing this. Because if you held alt on it, Landon, and took another screenshot, well, I guess it's kind of hard to take a screenshot when you're holding alt. But check that link. That'll tell you the level requirements. So if you click into one of those things, you'll check like, oh, hey, I have 45% physical damage and accuracy rating, and then I also have flat accuracy rating. Generally, the tiers can be helpful, so if that's the only tier 2 and everything else is tier 4 and above, it'll probably whittle. But if you buy a whittle and you highlight it, it will also just show you, like, hey, this is what's going to be removed. So that could be your best bet. I'm going to prep this tower, this tower, this tower with all of these. I'll probably prep this tower too. Is there any other towers like on the edge that I can't see? That one's not going to really touch. There's this one here. Really, it's these main 3 right here. I'm going to prep them tonight, or not tonight, tomorrow. And then for tomorrow night's stream, we can do those. And And hopefully, maybe by the time tomorrow night's stream rolls around, they will have an update for us on, hey, we've buffed loot, and you guys can see some more divs. Pretty good night though. I dropped 2 raw divs. Can go through the rest of the gear that we found, see if there's anything that sells, but I don't have one right now. But is that staff worth the gamble? Yeah, because if you get elemental damage to attacks, you'll be golden on that one. This one doesn't have any flat fizz on it, so the 50% increased fizz, I think you can just take that out, put elemental damage to attacks on it, and you'd be doing more damage. Or even the critical damage bonus cores, because you don't have any flat fizz that the percent fizz would be scaling. You just have the standard flat fizz, and Sinister Quarterstaff is the lowest flat fizz in the game as far as quarterstaffs go. I did forget that I was going to go through and kind of tell everybody what all the quarterstaff bases are, so I'll do that before I get off. So quarterstaff bases, you've got Aegis, you've got Razor, you've got Bolting, you've got Sinister, and then you've got Striking, are all of the kind of main bases. So Sinister has a natural 11.5% crit chance. Bolting is an elemental base, so it's elemental, it obviously does lightning damage. But another fun fact about bolting is it's actually the highest base damage one. Like if you just had like a white bolting quarterstaff, you would do the most damage with a bolting quarterstaff versus anything else. So the more you know. Aegis gives block chance, and it's mid-tier for its flat physical damage, 58 to 97. But Razor has the highest base damage, 65 to 108. So generally speaking, percent fizz on Razor quarterstaffs are going to be stronger than any other quarterstaff. Striking and Aegis quarterstaffs are a similar range. And then Sinister is the lowest flat damage range, and but it has the base crit built into it. And then there's also the Crescent quarterstaff is what it was called before. I don't know what it's called now. I think it's Lunar. Yeah, and you can also see it on your tooltip. Your tooltip should go up. I'm pretty confident it'll go up when you put the elemental soul cores in instead of the physical damage ones. It depends. Hello. But in most cases, I'd say elemental. Yeah, you're boosting Infernal Cry with your elemental damage to attacks. Because you get 140% damage as extra fire when you're bossing with Infernal Cry, and that's just getting, you add a 60% multiplier. Not multiplier, but increased damage, which would go into all the other increased damage pools. But if you had, for example, no increased damage pools anywhere, then you would just be increasing that damage by 60%. Your gloves have physical on it. Why would your gloves contribute to that? If it went down, then maybe it's not as good. Do you have a lot on your rings, like elemental damage on your rings, or no? No worries, hello. There's also the, I said Lunar. Lunar is the next lowest flat damage next to Sinister Quarterstaff, but it has 1.5 attacks per second instead of 1.4. So there was your deep dive on quarterstaffs real quick. Not really a deep dive. We can probably do a separate video on that though. So tomorrow, I don't know 100% if I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. I probably won't stream tomorrow actually, but I will put a video out. That video is going to be one of 3 things. Viable ascendancies for Flicker Strike in general. Atlas juicing and how to get your Atlas points, or deep dive on quarterstaff bases. Probably do the Atlas one, but that'll be the next video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. My goal is 1,000 subscribers. Would really appreciate if we help get that goal. And join the Discord, chat in there. I'll probably hang out in that Discord even when I'm not streaming. So if you want to like actually talk, we can chat. But yeah, join the Discord, subscribe to the YouTube. Look for the regular video tomorrow. But my voice is giving out on me, and I gotta go to bed. I will talk about ES Leech Sphinx. So ES Leech, you want at least one source of it, preferably on your rings or gloves. You want at least one source of it, and then you want either Voracious, which what Voracious does is 20% of Leech Assist instant. So when you're mana leeching, without instant leech, let's say you have 800 out of 975 mana. That means you can leech 175 mana, and that's how much you would be able to leech to your energy shield. But when you have some source of instant leech, it doesn't matter if you have 974 out of 975 mana, the amount of instant leech that you would leech instantly goes to your energy shield as well. It doesn't matter that your full mana after that instant leech, that full amount still goes to your energy shield. So that's what's giving us all of our sustain and what makes us so healthy. And another reason why I think we're superior to Invoker, because Invokers just cannot be as tanky as Acolyte. I'd say this is the best Flicker Strike build. I mean, there's enough differences That's why I want to do the Ascendancy video, because there's the Gemling version, there's Amazon version, there's Amazon Invoker version are the same, Infernalist version's different, Gemling version's different, Acolyte version's different, but just like standard Herald of Ice, Herald of Thunder, Flicker Strike, really there's tons of Ascendancies that can do it, but the cast on freeze Flicker Strike I think is best on Acolyte. So yes, in my opinion, this Flicker build is the best. But that's just my opinion. I'm playing it. I'm obviously a homer. But the cast on freeze one specifically is the best. Same with survivability. I don't think anybody competes on Flicker for survivability with Chayula. Because we get the biggest health pool, we can scale stun threshold super easily in the tree with our big ES pool. We leech our big ES pool so that we're constantly topped off so that we can consistently take big hits and then we just leech it back pretty instantly. Like Invoker is going to feel really bad with this as an example, because most Invokers are running like 4k-ish total health pool. I usually see around 3.5k total health pool with Invokers. Those like average, obviously not like top end, but they're not sustaining anything. The only sustain they have is their Life Flask. Especially if they're running CI, then they're definitely lower pool than us. So Sphinx, if you took the Mana Leech, make sure you have Leech on your rings or some source of Leech on your equipment. Because if you don't, then those are wasted. I think you could make it work, Seb, but I agree with what others said. Like, I think Flicker is still like too dangerous. But I won't say that, like, of all the ways to Flicker, I'd say this would be the most hardcore viable Flicker, but it's Flicker at the end of the day. It's even worse than in PoE 1 because in PoE 1 you have some control over where your flicker goes for, it's every 3 strikes. Then you kind of control where it goes from there. But with this, if you're at 8 power charges, you click flicker. Flicker is going where it wants to. You have no control. You are just full Jesus take the wheel. But fuck, I gotta go to bed, guys. Remember, click the subscribe button. Would really appreciate it. And I hope y'all have a great night.